Alright, haven't done a video in a while, so I figured since I'm back from the hospital I could do that. First we're looking at a 2-year SPX to find some support points. You can see already drawn on the 2-year is my most recent Fibonacci's, as well as a channel spanning the highs here across the last few months. And then I just simply drew a channel down into this last low. And in between, in these orange marks, you can see the Fibonacci retracements of that channel. What we're looking at now is we're not quite into the lows here, into the lows of the channel yet, but we are finding some support in this range, this 1857 to 1867 range. I don't think that we will be able to break out of this channel this time. I think that we bounce off of this 1840 to 1860 range here. Maybe make a little move up. We can see that we haven't really back tested this 1994 price yet. We lost it and we broke down. That price is also the shortest term 61.8 here, as well as the longer term 50. Anywhere in here between 94 and 2000. And it's also the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement of the channel. So if we are to bounce from this range, if we're not going to set another new low, then our upside targets would be this 1910.6, 1923. Just 38.2 is going to be very difficult, I would think, with the channel 61.8 sitting here in the 1943s, and so on and so forth, 1965 to 1970. And then I would think that this would cap out the bounce if we're already setting our lows here at the 1998 to 2000 range, here in between the fibs and this channel here. If we do drop lower and we do drop out of this channel, we're looking at first major support is the longest term 23.6 at 1788.25. If we zoom out here into the 10-year, you can see that that Fibonacci retracement spans from the 2009 lows all the way up into the previous year highs. Notice also that on this 10-year there's an uptrend from those lows, and it comes in right here about 1755 or so, but quickly catching up to this 23.6 fib. If we do manage to drop out of this channel, I would think that this would just be an amazing buy point for a long term. You can see that we've yet to test this 23.6 since we've created it. We've come down and we've come close, but we've yet to really get a break out of this short-term channel enough to test lower and into the uptrend and into this 23.6. I would assume if we do test into this price, it wouldn't be soon, a couple weeks out at the earliest, unless we get another one of those major news cycles globally or world politics. Otherwise, I'd be looking for that short-term bounce. At least step in to test the 1920s. I think this was a bit of an overreaction on the drop, and we could honestly come back here and test this 2000. We'll just have to watch. I do like back tests, and so we'll have to see if that one plays out or not. If we want to look at a little bit of volume here, we can check the SPY on the 3-year. We can just see where the volume lies. You can see I've already started here. We've got this volume node that we've been building out here in between the 186 to 189 range. Below that, we've got a little bit of a gap in volume here to test all the way down into the 183.5 to 184.5 area. There's just a little volume spike here. If we do lose the 183, 183.5 range, there's a noticeable drop off in volume, really all the way down into the 179, 180 range down here. And obviously you lose 180 and then you really have a lot of space here to battle through that has almost no volume at all the way down here into the 170s, but that's really getting ahead of ourselves. So as we can see, we've bounced off of volume, we've come back into the next highest volume, and we're kind of building out in this range. If we do get over this 188, 189 area, you can also see that my computer is frozen. Thanks. You can also see that we again have a bit of a volume null in this range as well, from 188.65 all the way up into the 191.5 to 192 area. we tend to move pretty quickly through this type of null, so we'll want to watch it there. Other than that, let's check on Apple. Apple's really just in a mess of a situation. It's catching this 50 here at the 94.5. Overhead resistance is going to continue to be 101 into 104. I don't think I'd really want to play Apple right now. I wouldn't be shocked to see the market bounce a little bit and then Apple to sputter down into this 90, maybe even test into the 83 to 85 range down here in the 61.8 and this longer term 38.2. Right now it just doesn't seem like the stock I'd want to be touching. Let's clear off Google real quick and we'll check her out. Google, we're kind of just hanging out, same situation. We haven't nearly dropped off nearly as far on Google as we have in Apple. We can see that Google's still holding the 38.2 and the back test here. I'd expect to see, if the market does bounce, I'd expect to see Google come back up and test into the 740, 750 range. Again, though, with no volume here, if the market does flush, Google can flush with it. I would think a great entry into Google would be anywhere in between the 650 to 670 range here in this volume area. And if it does drop below that, then you can just cut it off below 648 or so, and just let it come back into back test this area at the 613 to 615s. I haven't really looked at any other ones. We can check out the sectors real quick. XLB looks terrible. Let's take it out a little bit further. XLB is falling into volume. You can see it's got volume all the way down here into the 37 range. Quite a hard drop, but it has fallen through this 10-year volume area, so we'll want to watch XLB on the back test here of the 40s and see if it can break through. If not, it's going to be a pretty decent short, I would think. You've got your XLE here that seems to be broken just about as far as crude is. Again, we're testing down here into the 20-year volume. It runs anywhere from 50 up into 60. If we do break off that 50, we'll see that flush lower, but I wouldn't expect to see the 50 break off quite away. You've got your financials. Financials lost this 50 that it was using as support. It really has nothing of support lower. We could do something like this, and then you can see it's catching the short-term 38.2 here in the 21.5 area again. I really wouldn't be playing in the XLF right now. XLI. Well, the XLI seems to be one of the better ones, at least for right now. It's holding the short-term 23.6, and it does have a way to bounce back up into volume. Another $6 before it really hits the higher volume. XLK. XLK is building out. If you really want to know what the techs are doing, I'd watch the NQ rather than the XLK. It seems to not get traded as much, but here we are on the XLK. We're balancing the 50 from the 00 high into the 002 lows. We'll want to watch and see if this 38.42 can hold here. If not, we get a move lower into the 36s. After XLK, we've got XLP. XLP, one of the strongest sectors I've seen. We're balancing in a longer term 261.8 here. We're also balancing a shorter term 161.8. And if we want to get rid of all these, we can see that on a shorter term where we bounced the 50, we've taken back the 38.2. If we see a move back up and over the 50s, we're expecting XLP to start to break and run out a little bit. I still like XLP. It's one of my favorite sectors. We've got the XLU, the utilities sector. Utilities are strong as well. It's usually a defensive sector. If we want to do something like this real quick, we can see it's also balancing the 23.6 and the high volume node up here. Not really a great thing to see the utilities performing so well and the chart looking so great on the 20-year, but we'll have to see where it goes. If the XLUs can get over, say, this 50, 45, 29, and this 46, you're really looking at a nice breakout on the XLUs. We lose volume almost as soon as this 45.3 breaks here. So XLU definitely one to watch for the upside. Next would be the XLV. Let's see, healthcare. Healthcare is always strong, always seems to be strong. Again, balancing at 23.6. We've got a high volume area up here in between, say, let's call it 70 and 73. Do you really want to play it right here? You can. We lost a lot of volume, and there's quite a little bit there. You could play it off of the short-term 38.2 that's also sitting at this longer-term 23.6 in the 64-65 area. Not my favorite stock or my favorite sector, but it certainly is looking decent. You see we've resisted this 76.4 up here and flushed through, but the 50 is still holding, so we'll want to see take back of the 69 area, which is the short-term 61.8, and then we can push back up into the 76.4. And the XLY, same story, getting a bit of a short-term bounce. It hasn't really dropped too far. We lost this higher volume node up here, and we're kind of in a null. I would expect to see support though. If you find this trading down into the 66 to 68 area, I would think that would be a good place to pick this up for a longer term play with a short term risk over here at 66. You can sell it off. Other than that, can't think of much I want to check out. I haven't had time to see a lot, but I'm going to look for a little bit more, and if I find anything I like, I'll post it. Thanks.